at the age of 10, you also start playing bass.
Yeah.
What was that about?
It's just because I love shellac, you know.
What, you listen to shellac at the age of 10?
Yes!
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu Der Soundtrack meines Lebens. Ich bin Jan Schwarzkamp und ich werde euch in diesem Podcast auf eine musikalische Reise mitnehmen. Eine durch das tönende und klingende Leben meiner Gäste. Mal nerdig, mal erhellend, immer persönlich. Ein Austausch über Popkultur im Allgemeinen und ein Blick aufs Leben durch die Linse der Musik im Speziellen. Viel Spaß mit der folgenden Episode. Zu Gast in dieser Episode von Der Soundtrack meines Lebens ist Jehnny Beth. Eigentlich heißt sie ja Camille Berthomier und ist ein Christkind, geboren am Heiligabend 1984 in Poitiers. Und dort wächst sie auf, bis sie mit 22 nach London zieht. Den Namen Jehnny Beth verleiht sie sich ab 2006, als sie mit dem musikalischen Duo John und Jehn in Erscheinung tritt. Und weltweite Bekanntheit erreicht sie mit der britischen Band Savages. Die nimmt auf ihren 2 Alben Silence Yourself 2013 und Adore Live 2016 den gegenwärtig grassierenden Post-Punk-Hype vorweg. Vielleicht liegt es an ihren Eltern, beide Theaterregisseure, dass Beth ab 2005 parallel auch eine Laufbahn als Schauspielerin einschlägt. Parallel gelingt es ihr, mit Künstlern wie Trentemöller, Tindersticks, Gorillaz und Idols zu kooperieren. Mit Bobby Gillespie von Primate Scream veröffentlicht sie 2021 gar das Duettalbum Utopian Ashes. Solo tritt Beth 2020 in Erscheinung. Da veröffentlicht sie ihren emanzipatorischen Befreiungsschlag To Love is to Live. Im August 2025 legt sie mit You Heartbreaker You nach und darauf macht sie Musik for the sad and horny, also sexy, elektrifizierter Industrial Rock und düsterer Pop. Außerdem moderiert sie für den deutsch-französischen Sender Arte die Sendung Echoes, in der spielen vornehmlich Indie-Bands und KünstlerInnen Live-Shows. Drumherum lädt Beth zum ungezwungenen Interview und sie hat eine Interview-Radiosendung für den Streaming-Dienst von Apple. Am gestrigen Sonntagabend, da ist sie in der Kantine am Berghain aufgetreten und jetzt am Montagmorgen sitzt sie hier in meinem Wohnzimmer und damit herzlich willkommen zum Podcast, der Soundtrack meines Lebens mit Jehnny Beth. Hi Jehnny, nice to have you here.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So about 12 hours ago, you finished your show at the Kantine, which is right next to legendary electro club Berghain. Have you ever been partying there?
In Berghain?
Yeah.
I actually played in there with Savages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it was in 2016 or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember when they did the last concerts at Berghain. I have been in there for concerts, but never been clubbing though.
Oh, I wasn't clubbing, I was playing the show, but in the afternoon we were in the premises, obviously, and for some reason I can't remember why it was empty, so we managed to walk around and visit.
Yeah, it's an interesting place.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was interesting.
But I suppose that maybe Berghain would cater your taste for music for the sad and horny, I guess, maybe, because there is like sexual tension going on in there.
I've heard of that, yeah. I mean, I haven't experienced it firsthand.
And what happens in there stays in there.
Let's hope so.
So yesterday's concert was introduced by the song Easy Lovers, a score track by Piero Piccioni from the 1969 movie.
Did you Shazam that?
Yes,
yes, you
Shazam
did.
That. Yes, of course.
I would have been very impressed if you recognized it.
No. And it's from a 1969 movie called Camille Berthomier.
Well, you found the
Yeah, and the outro was Endless Love, also by Piccioni, from the movie Corpo Rovente.
Yeah.
And that can't be pure coincidence that those songs were playing, right?
Yeah, we chose them with Johnny Hostile because we were looking for intro and outro tracks. I said to him I wanted to find music that would make people happy and make them want to dance and sort of open their hearts, you know. And the fact that the track was called Camille, I mean the film, I thought that was a good. You know, if I even said if someone finds that out, then it would be hilarious because they would find why we chose it because it's my name.
But that's what I like about Shazam, that you can find out about most songs that you.
I think also it reminded me of some Faith No More, like the Italian sort of influences, the way Mike Patton can go from, the hardcore fright to sort of melodrama, like Italian opera, sort of. And I thought that was a good, sort of wink to that.
Of course, yeah. In the set, you covered Björk's Army of Me.
Yeah.
Her probably heaviest song, because it has this industrial pounding. And even Helmet covered that song once for a compilation. Why did you pick it?
Johnny suggested it, and I thought it was a really good idea to try to mold it into the sound of the show. Which is heavy, and and also because she's a punk, she comes from those roots. So in a way, for me, it's sort of bringing back that song into her origin, Björk's like sort of roots, and it made sense to me. And I love the song; it's an incredible song.
Yeah, it fit very well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It just makes sense. Yeah. If when I play it now, it feels like my song.
Yeah.
Sorry, Björk.
And you do a great Björk impersonation, kind of, because you really changed your style of singing in that song. I'd say. Kind of. Yeah. I mean, it felt like that.
Okay. I'm not trying to imitate her because I could never do that. So, okay. Well, I don't know what to say, but I mean, no, I don't think I could sing every Björk song. Yeah, I was actually impressed that I could sing a Björk song.
But she has such a characteristic pronunciation, and I think you threw yourself in that kind of pronunciation for that song.
Maybe.
With your voice, of course.
Yeah. I'm not trying to sing like her, but but yeah, maybe I keep the rhythm more. Yeah.
But Jehnny, are there people who still call you Camille?
Yeah, of course.
Is it Camille or Camille?
Camille.
Camille.
Yeah, Camille. Okay. But I mean, I changed my name when I moved to London.
Yeah.
And as you said in the introduction, I had a band called John Jehn with Johnny Hostile. Yeah. And when we arrived at venues in London, people, we kept saying Nico and Camille, but they would not call us like that. They would not memorize it, so they would call us John and Jen all the time. So it became Jehnny, Johnny, and that became more names really.
Yeah.
So when I did Savages after, and they asked me, well, how do you want to sign the songs? I felt like, I'm going to use Jehnny, and then Beth was a contraction of my family name, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Jehnny also a stage persona that takes over when you are doing business?
Doing business.
I mean, like you're probably also Jehnny when you do interviews with other people, and when you're hosting shows, then you're also Jehnny. But when you are,
I don't know. I feel sometimes I find it funny when people say, "Oh, your real name is Camille," because I wonder which one is real.
Yeah.
More real than the other. Why would it be more real?
You can give yourself any name, right?
Because my parents gave it to me. I mean, I love the name Camille, but Jehnny has an H actually as well, and I think that's maybe interesting to talk about for a sec, because John and Jen was written at first naively by us with an H in each word, and it was a way to reflect, like a mirror, and if John has an H, then Jen has an H. It makes sense to us. And then we realized no. But that made the name interesting more. So I kept the H, which I realized later on it was unusual. But a persona, I think we're made of personas. I think even you're probably different when you're with your family than when you're here.
I'm different now than I'll be.
Yeah. In Berghain.
When you left. And in Berghain, of course. Yeah. That'll be my true self in Berghain.
Exactly. So I think we all have different characters, and I think I'm made of different layers.
Yeah.
So Jehnny is one of them.
But little Camille was born on Christmas Eve, like Lemmy Kilmister, but 39 years later. Yeah. So you grew up in Poitiers, in West Central France, a city with about 90,000 people living there, maybe not around when you were born. And it has a historic center. And well, thinking back, what is your very earliest musical memory?
I think it would be oh god, there's so many. That's the thing. I would say probably Nina Simone, because I remember putting on the CD. So I remember, I don't know how old I was, but I remember wondering who that was. And there was a CD where she was sort of covered in gold on the cover. And I felt very compelled by her voice and wondering if she was a man or a woman, but not really caring about that either. But I felt that I didn't expect such a voice. So it really stopped me in my track. Yeah. Jazz was like the initial music I grew up with. Yeah. There was a piano in the house, so I used to play a lot until my parents felt sorry for me and find a teacher at some point, because they were like, I think we need to. But I was playing before I had a teacher. And then from the age of 8, I had a jazz teacher for 10 years.
Yeah, your parents were Catholic theater directors.
Catholic. I mean, they were not Catholic. But my family is
what
Catholic.
The internet told me.
Yeah, the internet lies to you. No, but my family is Catholic. My grandma is Catholic, but my parents, they didn't baptize me, for instance. Yeah. So they were coming from rural backgrounds. You know, my mom's family is they're farmers, and my dad's were more like village shopkeepers, you know, that kind of thing. And my grandma had a bar. So they were like, working in villages, like, so rural background, and they found each other through theater. Yeah.
And they listened mainly to jazz and classic. Did that leave traces in your taste for music?
Yeah, probably. But music was my thing. Mm-hmm. Like, they were more into theater and cinema. I didn't have a TV for like all my youth, and they would show us a lot of movies, movies I shouldn't have seen when I was that young, like Hitchcock and all those things, you know, Truffaut, Nouvelle Vague and all that. They really went hard on me and my sister in terms of culture, because they grew up with nothing. Like, my mom didn't have a book in her house when she grew up. Yeah. They didn't even have a toilet. Like, you know, she was like, and I think when she discovered art and culture, and she went to university for free, and it changed her life, and she just wanted to give her kids a very rich, educated, you know, sort of childhood. We traveled a lot, you know, in a van. We went all across Europe. I went to America when I was 13. Like, they were teachers, you know, so like left-wing sort of middle-class teachers, really. But that was... It's like a mentality that we're losing right now. It's like this idea of art and culture can really change the world, and you know, and they wanted their children to be growing up in, you know, in discovering, you know, the world through those lenses, you know. Yeah. But so music was like, I would say, what we listened to in the car, you know. I would be the one. And my dad had to listen to a Michael Jackson tape forever, for a very long time. Yeah. And I knew all the lyrics, and he loved that I did, you know, and he was just follow my taste, you know. I remember loving the first Eels record as well, when I was about 10.
Beautiful Freak.
Freak, yeah, exactly. Beautiful Freak. Yeah. Quite a record. And I know it completely. I know every note on that record. And I used to play that in the car on and on and on and on.
You have a sister. I don't know if she's older or younger than you.
She's older than me.
Older?
Yeah.
So did she ever stimulate your musical muscle?
No, really. Again, it was me. Like, I remember listening to the Beatles. We had a Let It Be record. And then discovering Portishead through a French film that used one of their tracks as an outro for the film. And then I was like, I need to know who that is, because obviously Beth Gibbons had a jazz voice, which is something that I grew up listening to, Chet Baker or, Jimmy Scott or Ella Fitzgerald. I actually didn't really like Ella Fitzgerald much. I liked some of it, but I didn't like the ska in jazz at all. So Portishead was like the trip up, like the end of Trip Up was when I was probably 11 or something, and like Tricky and Massive Attack and Portishead.
But you already mentioned that you got a musical education at the age of 8. Was that your wish or was it your parents' wish?
I think it was my wish, because my sister had a teacher, but I didn't like the teacher. It was like a very strict classical teacher, and she didn't like him, and I didn't want to learn from him. And he came with a suit, he came dressed in a suit, and he was too strict and not funny guy at all. So I didn't want him, and then they found this jazz teacher who was like a Spanish immigrant who was incredible. He was very good at. He could write any sort of music. He was learning Gregorian music. He could write it. He could sing it, because the harmonies are really hard. And I would go see him sing. His wife was a singer as well. She taught me how to sing as well. And he taught me how to play piano. And I would spend all my Saturdays at their house. We'd have lunch together. We'd play piano. I'll sing, or he would play, or I would play. And he was just a really incredible, with kids, really incredible teacher, really kind. And he would give me, there's things he told me then that I still carry with me. Like, for instance, after you played a show, even though you didn't like your performance, never show it to people who come and say they loved the show. And that's something that he taught me. To always say. So I said, but what do you say then? He was like, well, you say, thank you. I'm happy you liked it. Thank you. He had such class. And he also told me to enjoy my childhood, and he showed with his hand a pile of letters he'd received, which were obviously, invoices or tax stuff or things you have to pay when you're an adult. It was like, this comes later and it's not fun. Enjoy now, Yeah, he was great. He was called Manolo Gonzalez, actually, I should say his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
At a young age, you start singing songs by Chet Baker in English.
Yeah, in English.
C'est ridicule, no?
What do you mean? Why?
Because I don't know. I think that it is not so very common in France that you get an English education, that you sing in English, because, I've heard, or I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that there's lots of French music in the radio.
Oh yeah,
and that it
sadly.
And and that it is not necessarily cool to speak English.
I definitely felt that it was really cool. I loved English language. I fell in love with it. And I only sang in English. I never sang in French. I wasn't really interested in the French music, really.
Yeah.
I never sang in French.
Yeah.
And even my first songs I wrote then were in English. My first song was called Waste Man. Which is I remember it because my best friend, we were very close and we were spending all our time together until she fell in love with a guy. And then I couldn't see her anymore. And then I called him the Waste Man. I don't know, like wasting my time or something. But I learned English through singing. Yeah. And I used to have a quiet voice like Chet Baker. That's what my teacher used to say to me. Yeah.
And also, kind of on the side, you start playing theater. For example, the title role in Henrik Ibsen's Peer Gynt.
No. My dad. So my dad was a theater director.
Yeah.
And he did put on Peer Gynt.
Yeah.
Peer Gynt. I don't know how to say. And a lot of plays are wonderful. And I used to go to see all the rehearsals. Okay. I had a small role at some point, but there was not even a text. It was just, he would never really make me, I don't know, my dad was very clever because in a way he knew that I wanted to be in the arts, in some kind of way, but he always told me that I had some kind of talent, but also he always said that I needed to work. So he would never offer me like a role before I was ready, or because I was his daughter. He was being very careful with that. Yeah. But we went on tour when I was 4 in Russia for one of his plays, because he won a sort of a prize for Ariane Mushkin. Do you know her? No. She's a very famous theater director, and she took him on tour with her play, with his play. So we went on tour in Russia. So that was one of my first tours, and I was really young, and I had a role in it. I was a daughter of the king, because the play was about 1784. The revolution, French Revolution.
Yeah. Did you early start being trained in dramatic arts at the Conservatoire de Poitiers?
Yeah.
Did it help you becoming the artist you are today?
No, that's not when it happened. I think that was just following my father's path in a way, because he was the director of that conservatoire. Yeah. And I wanted to learn drama. I mean, I always saw my dad's rehearsals. I was fascinated by acting. And music was always kind of my heartbeat, it was the most important thing. No, I became an artist when I met Johnny Hostile.
Okay. Well, yeah. Fair enough. But at the age of 10, you also start playing bass.
Yeah.
What was that about?
It's just because I love shellac,
What, you listened to shellac at the age of 10?
Yes.
How did you even get to know about shellac at the age of 10?
Well, I had a good friend who was, I don't know if I was 10 actually, I'm just saying 10, maybe I was 13, because I was in 10 seems a bit young. Yeah. But I think they were through Manolo Gonzalez, my teacher. He had a friend, Hugues Maté, who was a bassist, jazz bassist, and they were playing together. And so I used to go see their concerts. Yeah. And Hugues was an incredible guy as well. He was really wonderful. And I wanted him to teach me. But I remember one of my friends playing me some Iggy Pop, some shellac, some all that, Joy Division, all that sort of rock scene, and I discovered rock and roll really between the age of 10 or 13. My memory is blurry, and then so I remember all these basses I wanted to learn how to play. Yeah. I think Tina in Talking Heads as well was one of the main focus, or Pixies, of course. I just think that I was listening to music that were bass driven. Even Joy Division, you can sing the bass lines, Yeah. So that's why I wanted to play bass.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, sure. So around that time, you also kind of when you were 13, you properly get into rock music, kind of.
I think it was around then. Yeah.
That means
my friend,
1997, about that. So you just mentioned the first bands you kind of were interested in. You had the chance to go to concerts?
Yeah.
So where did they happen, and who took you to go and see them?
Yeah, okay. So in my hometown, still is a venue called Le Confort Moderne, Modern Comfort. It was a very interesting venue which had great history. Fugazi came to play.
You
Sonic Youth.
Saw Fugazi?
No, it was the history of the venue.
Okay.
But it was... The walls were, the history of the venue is important. And but I saw Yamakai came, though. I saw him play with his wife, the band they had after.
What is it? Evans or something?
The Evans, that's it. Yeah. She was on the drums and he was playing guitar and singing. So I saw Yamakai then when, I was 15 or something. Kim Gordon came to play as well. With one of her projects. I can't remember what it was, but Sonic Youth had come to that venue. Like it was in, the circuit of, underground, interesting American music. And so I discovered a lot of bands and music by just going there. So DJ Shadow, so Converge. So it was a great, place.
Yeah.
And I was
Sounds
always
like
there,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I was seeing everything. I saw Blonde Redhead there. It was one of my favorite discoveries of my youth.
How did you finance going to all the concerts? Or did you get lucky to be on the guest list?
No, I was never on the guest list.
Yeah.
No, I was never on the guest list. But, I feel my parents would not really, it was probably really cheap, like 5 or 10.
Okay.
And my parents had the money and they would never count that sort of thing. They would always give me money to go to see concerts with my friends or to theater or to... And in France, there's all this government money for culture. Mm-hmm. So it's really cheap. I mean, it was really cheap to go to see a gig. I didn't remember it being expensive.
You mentioned listening to a Michael Jackson tape, but we didn't clear yet. What was the very first record you bought from your pocket money?
Well, actually, it was a 7-inch by Janet Jackson.
Makes sense, kind of. There's a red line, I see.
Yes. I can't remember which song it is, though. But I also bought a CD of a track called Lemon Tree. Do you remember that? And under
I know that.
Horrible track.
A horrible earworm.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I was obsessed.
It's a German band, actually.
It is?
Yeah. Fool's Garden.
Fool's Garden, that's it. Yeah, I had the CD of that single.
Shit. Yeah. I can't believe that.
I was obsessed with that song.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't worry. It's all good.
I don't know. That was.
I mean, it's kind of interesting that
it reminded me of the Beatles, basically.
Yeah, it is a total Beatles-ish.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah. No.
God.
So today you are this wonderfully abrasive persona, this sleek-haired, sexy feminist playing loud, wild, unabashed music, seemingly giving zero fucks what people might think of you. Were there artists, musicians you discovered for yourself by the end of the 90s that helped you becoming that person?
Oh yeah, so many. I remember very well the first time I heard Le Tigre. Mm-hmm. I was at my friend's place in La Rochelle. And he was gone to do some work or something, and I was alone in the house. And he had an incredible record collection, so I went through everything. And at some point, Decepticon came on.
That's a brilliant song. I love it.
I melted on where I was. I had never heard something like that. I was so shocked and excited. I literally played it 10 times in a row, and I started dancing in the kitchen. I knew the lyrics very quickly. It was just a shock, you know. So that changed my life. And then I became a huge Le Tigre fan. And then, but I had no idea they were feminists. I didn't care. Like, it's funny how that works, really, because I think the message still came through. But the word feminist is a word I learned many, many, many years later. I didn't understand what it was then. I don't think it matters, to be honest. And then Peaches, the first Peaches record changed my life. She's, I think she did everything before everybody. And and actually I knew about her through Gonzalez, Gonzalez, because he was doing a tour with Feast at the time. They came to my hometown, so I saw that show when they were wearing robes and on stage, and it was really hilarious, and it was a great show. And then I searched him, and then I found Peaches through those search, because there was a documentary about them in Berlin, and so I became quite obsessed with Peaches, for sure. I mean, the sound of that first record is so still modern. It's still it hasn't aged at all, and you can see how now the new pop is sort of so influenced by what she's done. Even Charlie XCX now, or I think Peaches is the root of that. Even the way she was talking about sex, about her body, about with so much freedom. I love that very much. Because I was growing up a bisexual without knowing I was a bisexual. And I think music helped me to navigate, all those feelings I had, and I didn't know what it was. Yeah. And somehow when those singers sung things, I understood straight away who I was, Yeah. So that's why I was attracted to music, is because it's the underdog, it's the people who give themselves a voice even though they don't have one in society.
Yeah. You take things in your own hands as a musician by the age of 15. So around 1999, you have a jazz girl band.
Yes.
How did that look like?
Yeah, it was one of the students of my teacher. She was really cool, and we did for a while, to earn money, I did a show for children, and she was in it as well. We were singing with costumes and stuff in school. I hated that job, but I did it no matter what, and he taught me to just put on a face and because children don't care about your performance really. So it's the worst audience ever. So we did that tour of schools together, and then she said, I'd love to do like a jazz band. Would you be the singer? And she had like a double bassist woman. And she was the drummer, and it was fun. Like it was really cool.
Did you? I mean, you had quite a jazz education when you were young. Did you ever let loose of the jazz, or is it constantly lingering in the background? Is it a style of music you always go back to?
I always listen to jazz. Like I Thelonious Monk is one of my favorite. Tom Mingus, I always go back to Coltrane. They're like I need to go back to. I need to listen to it often, and it's sort of part of my life, I suppose. I love when I'm traveling. At the moment, I'm on tour, so I travel a lot, and I always listen to jazz in the van. Or it just sort of. It just makes sense to me. It's part of my blood, I suppose. Yeah.
The earliest recording you might be part of stems from 2005. At least I couldn't find anything.
Earliest recordings?
Any earlier recordings that got
my first recording
released,
I know.
Right?
Properly released. Okay. I remember my first recording. It was for my sister's film.
Okay.
And I was drunk.
Okay.
Because I was so scared. And a friend of mine, I had gathered all these jazz musicians to make this track for my sister's film and credits. And they told me, my friends, as a joke, that to soothe the voice, you
gotta drink whiskey.
Yeah, you drink something really hard, vodka, whatever. And we were in my friend's grandma's house in the countryside that was really run down. Like there was nothing working in that house, and it was all dusty and old and abandoned, basically. And we were recording in the house, sleeping on the floor. And then I started drinking something we found in the cave. And then it was. I was so drunk, but the performance was good. Yeah, but
at least the first thing that I could find out about that you recorded and that got kind of released was in 2005 by a band called Motel.
Oh God!
It's a self-made CDR EP called Vacancy, and you sing and play keyboards on there. What is that about?
Oh, it was just a band, friends that were in Poitiers, and we were, it was just before I met Johnny Hostile. So. And I was in a movie then. I was 17. So I did a movie where I had the first part in it, and I was making the music for it with a director called Jean-Paul Siverac. And with my friend who was a guitarist, he was a huge fan of Radiohead, I remember, and Jeff Buckley. And we were just making this sort of jazz influence sort of band, rock prog band thing. With a bassist and a drummer, and we would rehearse and I would write the lyrics and sing. Yeah, that was my first band, really, proper.
And then after that, you were in your early 20s. You meet a guy called Nicolas Congé, which is Johnny Hostile.
Yeah.
He plays keyboards on the album Petit Cauchemar entre amis. Ami,
okay.
by a French rock band called Asyl.
Asyl, yeah.
Yeah, Asyl.
Yeah.
And you also appear on that record in the song Music Hole.
I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah.
Is this where you meet Nicolas for the first time?
Yeah, I meet him through my friends who have a band called Asyl. Yeah. I meet him. I'm introduced to him on a New Year's Eve. People tell me he's called Frankie. I'm like, it's a terrible name. It was actually not his name. It was a joke. But and we get on to that night. When our friends went to party, we just carried on talking. We didn't stop talking until like 6 a.m. in the morning. And then he walked me to my train, basically. We spent the whole night talking about music and about love and because we both had really hard breakups. But it's a small world, so we knew each other's exes, and it was kind of really a funny conversation. Finding out that, his ex had been cheating on him for a year with a friend of mine. Anyway, it was really hilarious, and we just felt that we were sort of disillusioned with love and relationships. We didn't want to believe in that anymore. We felt it was a waste of time to find a companion at our age, that all that mattered was to make music and art, and that, I think that's what sealed the deal with us. It's like art is more important than love,
And that's why you became John and Jen.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
With the first EP called Love Will Not Tear Us Apart.
Yes.
Yes.
And as a duo, you moved to London in 2006.
Yeah, because it's 2005 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
October 2005, I think.
Why did you pick London? What did you hope finding there?
I mean, I first time I went to London was when I was 15. So my jazz teacher, wife, and she knew a family there in London who were in music as well. She knew through a long time, holidays, and they met. The French family, English family met on holiday somewhere in France, and then became really long-term friends. And then because I was part of, she felt I was her family. She sent me there, So I spent a whole summer there, and I fell in love with London. I was 15. They were in the family I was into. They were into music, so she was like Sally Gross. She was the manager, quite important manager in music industry at the time, and her partner at the time was an A&R in I can't remember which company, maybe Universal or something. But anyway, they were they'd go. It was the peak of drum and bass. It was like I remember the White Stripes. I remember, it was like London was a very interesting place, and musically. And all our sons, Sally's sons, were musicians, producers, drum and bass producer, and in the house, they were making music in the house. And she had a son that was exactly my age, so I would hang out with him a lot, Jackson. Yeah. It changed my life. I was like, I need to live there. I need to be there, Yeah. And so every summer I would go back. So they became good friends, and then when I met Johnny and we started making music together, we had our first EP, so the famous "Love Will Not Tear Us Apart." Yeah. That was taken by Rough Trade into their shops, and they, when you had your record in Rough Trade, they would write a
little personal note on there, right, describing the music, and
they did that. So we traveled just to read it. We took a car. We and one summer I was like, let's do it. And so we went there and we picked up our EP in the shop and we read what they had written, because there was no internet. Like, how else are you going to read it? And then I introduced him to the family I knew, etc. And then I said to him, I mean, I'm happy to do music with you, but I want to move to London. I don't want to do it in Poitiers. What the fuck? So, And he said, yeah, let's do it. So that was it.
You recorded this demo EP, then a couple of singles, 2 albums in 2008 and 2010. The music is inspired by a lot of things, from the Nouvelle Vague to post-punk. So please enlighten me what John and Jen were inspired by. What were you aiming for? I mean, of course, you evolved and you tried out different things.
Yeah, we did.
But
too many things. Yeah. But I mean, at the beginning, it was sort of a lo-fi folk, anti-folk band kind of thing. We were doing everything ourselves, recording in one room in London, and we were part of a venue history called the Luminaire. It doesn't exist anymore. It was in Kilburn, but they were playing a lot of like folk